All right, welcome back everybody to another episode of Adrenaline Seek. Kind of continue on with archery tips. We're going to be talking about 3 archery tips that are going to improve your consistency and your accuracy. So when it comes to shooting a bow and bow hunting or shooting 3D targets or whatever, there's a lot of different tips. There's a lot of different techniques. There's a lot of information out there. I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible and explain it to the best that I can. And just kind of give you 3 tips to go work on, find out what works for you. That's the big thing about archery. Not the same thing works for everybody. So yes, there's general concepts that you want to get down and have correct, but it's all going to vary from person to person. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is your grip. I think that people do not pay enough attention to the grip when you're shooting a bow. You want it to fit comfortable, yes, but also there is proper ways you can hold the bow to reduce torque, especially in your shot and that type of deal. So when I'm gripping the bow, if you can see, there's a line right here on your hand. Everybody has it, whatever. You want to grip that on you want your grip to majorly be on the thumb side, right, of that lifeline there. When you kind of start getting into your palm and down in here, there's a lot of influence on the bow grip. It's easier to torque and that sort of deal. So I always encourage people, and what I try to do is to grip it kind of with the meaty part of your thumb there. Get your grip set, and it's going to feel different at first, especially if you don't shoot that way anyways. But just come in here, and you don't want to get down in there and get it into your palm. Keep it on the meat part of your thumb there, and just relax your fingers out front right here, just like that. You don't want to be squeezing the bow tight. You don't want to be pushing it with your fingers, nothing like that. Get it set and just relax your fingers. Some people relax them around the front of the riser. Some people bend them in. Some people relax them on the front. That's where that personal preference is going to kind of come in on what's most comfortable for you. So that's kind of the first tip. The next tip is going to be your anchor. People anchor a lot of different ways. I always like to have 3 points of reference when I'm going to anchor. Those 3 points are going to be where my release hand is with a finger. I always like to get this first knuckle right here in the corner right there behind my ear, just like that. So you can kind of see that. Also, my second reference point is going to be the string in the corner of my mouth. I always try to make sure that the string is in the corner of my mouth right there. I don't use a kisser button, which we will discuss why I don't here in a second, but string in the corner, and then also string on the tip of the nose. That gives me 3 reference points that I will be able to come back no matter what to. Whether it's a high pressure 3D shot or a hunting situation, I get there, I feel all 3 of them, I know I'm there. It's not out here free floating. I've got 3 points of reference I always come back to. And the reason I don't use a kisser button or a nose peg or whatever is when you're shooting distance. So for example, I'm gonna dial my sight down here to, like, let's say 100. If you're shooting 3D or whatever, I'm gonna anchor where I normally would for, like, say 20 yards. So we're gonna draw back here. I'm gonna anchor where I normally would for like 20. So right now, my sight isn't even in my peep sight. So the reason I don't use a kisser or nose is because I actually have to slide down the string like that and line up my housing with my peep sight. So when you shoot distance, you naturally have to lower your anchor point in order for your peep sight to line up with your housing. I know this is a pretty controversial topic, but this is what I do. It works really well for me, and I recommend everybody doing that. If you keep a fixed kisser button and you go like that, I wouldn't even be able to shoot 100 yards right now if I kept the same anchor point. I still keep the same 3 references. I'm always right here. Yes, I have to slide down a little bit, so that changes, but the corner of my mouth, the string on the tip of my nose is always going to stay the same. And then always, always, always lining up my peep sight with my housing. If you line up your peep sight with your housing every time with a consistent anchor point, you're going to be very, very consistent. as far as your groups, and I think your accuracy will improve too. Lastly, the biggest thing is going to be repeatability. Archery is all about repeatability. If you can go in and have the same process, the same grip, the same anchor point, the same release method, whatever you want to call it, you're going to be consistent and your accuracy is going to get better as you practice that method. So just having a process that is repeatable is going to be huge. If you're changing things and trying different things, it's going to be hard to stay consistent. I'm guilty of this. I like to try new things, new release aids or whatever. In reality, I should probably just stick with something and stick with it and shoot and get better. But you do have to find what's comfortable and for you. So really, it's just having a repeatable process. So we're going to take a few shots. I'm going to talk about things as I shoot here. And we'll shoot a few shots and talk about everything that I just kind of discussed. So like I said, the meat of my thumb is in my my grip here. Going to draw back. I'm going to find my anchor and get into it. Okay, I'm in my anchor. I'm good there. Okay. All right, and shot goes off. So as I'm doing that there, I have the same process every time, same anchor point, same grip. And then like I said, after you get all those things in line, it's just about repeating it. So we're gonna pull that arrow, come back, shoot a few more, and yeah. All right, so like I said, repeatable process, so same thing. I'm coming in here, I'm going to get my grip good where I want it. Going to draw back, 3 points of references. There, okay. Shot goes off, good shot. We've talked about it in some other videos, but having a set process that you go through every time, audibly in your head, talking yourself through your shot process, that's going to help as well. And that really just helps with that repeatability of your shot. But yeah, those are 3 kind of tips that I recommend that you work on, practice, figure out what works for you, that I think will improve your accuracy and your repeatability in your archery shot. Kind of going back over them real quick, having a good, proper grip that you can repeat, having a repeatable, solid anchor point that you come to every time, and then lastly is just something that is repeatable. Having a process that's repeatable, an anchor point, grip, etc. That's going to improve your consistency, accuracy, and just your overall going to be a better shot with a bow when you do that. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments. Till next time, keep seeking.